What's up? What's going on, everybody? What's good? That's right. This is February 11th, 2024. The Boxing Source podcast is here and is live. And, we're here talking boxing. We're talking boxing news. We're reacting to the boxing stories that have been coming out over the course of the week. And we want to get your reactions and your, input as to what's been going down in the sport of boxing here. That's right. JR here, JR Bella, the Boxing Source here, checking in. We had a few things going down in the sport of boxing. Yes, we did have a fight card that was on Thursday night in Las Vegas. We're going to be touching on that here in some time. But, the biggest story that came out of the week was this announcement in reference to the WBC super lightweight champion, Devin Haney. He was able to secure a fight with Ryan Garcia. He was able to have this. This is going to be his first defense of that WBC super lightweight title. You got him there, of course, 31-0, 15 KOs, 25 years old there, man. And he was able to, like I said, he's a former undisputed champion there at 135 pounds. And now he was able to become the WBC super lightweight champion with his win over Regis Prograis just a couple of months ago. It's been 2 months since that win that he had over there in San Francisco. And now he's making his first defense. It's just going to be 4 months after that win going up against Ryan Garcia. Of course, Ryan had his long loss to Tank Davis. That is going to end up being like 1 year from when this next fight is going to take place. So it's going to be there in Las Vegas here once again, man, and what's going down, man. Shout out to my boy Ant McQueen. Had a great breakdown of the fight between Jermaine Ortiz and Teofimo Lopez. We was able to chop it up on Casuals Corner, so y'all can go over to Casuals Corner and check that out, and also check out his channel there, Casuals Corner. You'll be able to see multiple breakdowns of fights on his channel, so y'all be able to support that. Yeah, y'all go ahead and hit the like button while you're coming in here. But yeah, back on this joint here with Dev and Ryan. You got Devin Haney. Yeah, he's had those fights against Jojo Diaz, Jorge Linares, George Kambosos, Vasily Lomachenko, and Regis Prograis. And now he's here in this fight against Ryan Garcia in a they say one of those big events there with Ryan Garcia. And Ryan Garcia back in the picture, back in the fold. I kind of like find this interesting there that this is going to be Ryan Garcia's opportunity to face Devin Haney at this point. Now, they could have faced each other in the lightweight division as you had Ryan Garcia be, one of those top contenders out there for the lightweight title. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't end up making that fight happen at the time. And so it just ended up marinating. And now with Ryan Garcia, coming off of, losing to Tank Davis first, but then also getting a win over Oscar Duarte in December as well over in Houston. Now he's, right back in the fold in another high profile fight against Devin Haney. And, this one here, they've, talked about building this up, and, they've had that extensive history, going back to the amateurs. They had 6 fights in the amateurs, 3 wins for each. So now here they are, first fight here in the pros, with definitely a lot on the line. Devin Haney's undefeated record on the line. Ryan Garcia, in another fight where this is a high profile bout. And now you got to see if he's, one of those guys. I mean, folks talk about, that we had a new generation of the 4 Kings here within this particular division, given you had Tank Davis, you got Ryan Garcia, you got Devin Haney, and some, said it would be, either Teofimo Lopez or Shakur Stevenson, one of those two. But you seen there with Teofimo Lopez, he didn't, entertain anything with any of those fighters, not Devin Haney, not Ryan Garcia, not Tank Davis, none of that. You see Shakur Stevenson was trying to angle for a fight against Devin Haney, but was unsuccessful with that. So now we got Ryan Garcia now facing two of who would be the four high profile fighters or those that garner the most attention there within the 135 and 140-pound divisions. And so he's there, 5'8" with a reach of 70, and you got Devin Haney with the same height, reach advantage of 71. So we're going to have something where you're going to see how this particular fight is going to shape up, man. I think it's going to be a very intriguing fight and a very high action fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, man. And Ryan, looks like he's going to try to, I want to see like how he does in this particular instance. It's going to be him with the different trainer. Of course, he's been with Derek James for about 7 to 8 months. Had that one fight with Oscar Duarte there, and they had like something where Ryan Garcia had like a little bit of a clash of heads with his previous trainer before he got on with Derek James. So I like to see how he's able to be more familiar with Derek James's teachings and things like that. While you got on the other side, you got Devin Haney there with Bill Haney, like his trainer, his manager, his lead promoter, all that type of stuff there, for Devin Haney. But at least with Devin Haney, he's kind of like had that type of thing where he's been directed very well by Bill Haney in this sense. So he's been able to do very well. He's had a couple of good chief seconds on there. So we got to see. Yeah, man. And I got to see what tactics they decide to employ in this particular instance. You know what I'm saying? I want to see like how Devin approaches this fight, and I also would like to see how Ryan approaches this fight. I think the thing with Ryan, he has that quick twitch type of thing as far as like when he throws his punches. Both of these guys here are at the orthodox stance, so you're gonna see something where either you'll see Devin Haney either try to initiate, or you're going to see Ryan Garcia try to initiate here. And so I like to see how Ryan approaches this particular fight, because we seen what happened with him against Tank. He was very aggressive there within the first couple of rounds, but when he was doing that, he was leaving himself open to counters, and it ended up being a left hook that landed square on him for that knockdown to take place there in the second round. And so you kind of seen at times where Ryan was very wary of that left hand counter coming from Tank Davis. But the thing with Tank Davis is Tank has the power behind that shot. Does Devin Haney have the power within his counter to make Ryan Garcia be reluctant in doing what he's doing? So we got to see how he's going to be able to react to that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, I felt like the fight that Ryan Garcia had with Oscar Duarte, he was kind of like winning that fight, up to that point, but it was something there where he was trying to catch up with Oscar Duarte, you know what I mean? And once he was able to eventually do that, then he ended up breaking down Duarte and then getting a stoppage. It wasn't like something where it was like a spectacular knockout to me or whatever it is. It was just where he just overwhelmed Duarte, and Duarte just didn't want to get up and continue or whatever it was. So that's kind of like what we got off of that. But here I think it's going to be something where the moment is going to be out there for Ryan Garcia. He's been there before. He's been in a big atmosphere before. So we got to see like how this thing's going to turn out. My thing was I would like to be interested to see where this is going to end up, what venue. They haven't really secured. It looked like they secured a venue for this in Las Vegas up to this particular point. They haven't said like it would be at T-Mobile Arena or the MGM Grand Garden Arena or Michelob Ultra. So I want to see where this thing is going to end up, because with that being said, will that kind of like, say for example, if you have this thing here with with it not being at the T-Mobile Arena. Like if it was at, MGM, like how would that affect both of these fighters as far as like how they would be able to come into this fight? You're not going to have, as many people in the atmosphere as it is if it was like T-Mobile Arena. So that's one thing that I'm also looking for in this particular matchup too. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I'm looking forward to this bout here that's going to be on April 20th. They don't have like anything else here set for that fight card as of yet. You're going to have, Golden Boy involved with it and Matchroom Boxing involved with it as well. So we're going to see how they're going to fill out this card. If you're going to have Golden Boy fighters versus Matchroom fighters, or you'll have like a Matchroom fighter in there, featured, and a Golden Boy fighter featured in this. So, we'll see how that goes. But back to the thing there with this fight, man. My thing is with Dev, like Dev is kind of like shown that he has been able to be in these high level fights. Against Lomachenko, he was able to do that. He had that clean sweep over Regis Prograis in his previous fight. He was able to, kind of like be in the scene there back in what it was, 2019. He actually had 4 fights in 2019, which is, crazy for, a guy that level to have that many fights. But he was able to do that in 2019. And ever since then, it was like, 4 fights or so. 2 fights per year. So he's kind of like been fairly active, there as far as like, being a world champion, being a undisputed world champion at one point there in the lightweight division and whatnot. So, we got to see like how he's going to, approach this bout against Ryan Garcia. And for Ryan, this is where it's like, I think more of the pressure here is going to be on Ryan Garcia, because this is where, okay, you get stopped by Tank Davis, last April, and it was, to a delayed reaction to a body shot that like kind of like reminded people of, when Oscar De La Hoya got stopped by Bernard Hopkins, so here, this is something where, you kind of like saying, okay, you've already lost in one high profile fight. If you lose in this one, like, where are you going to have an opportunity to, have another one of those high level fights, particularly there in the 140-pound division? Like, is that going to happen there for you? You know what I'm saying? So we got to see how he reacts here with this. If he, approaches this bout completely different than how he did against Tank Davis, because, Devin Haney doesn't really have, of course, that type of, power behind his punch. One, but two, this is going to be there at the, the 140-pound division. And Devin, as we've seen, Devin Haney, at least in his last fight or whatever it is, what is it? He was weighing in the day of the fight at like 165 or 170 there against Regis Prograis. You know what I'm saying? So I'd like to see like how Ryan Garcia approaches it. Yeah, I mean, my thing is like with it being at 140, what are these fighters going to be able to, not be able to, but what will they rehydrate to, leading into this bout? You know what I'm saying? I think, one of the things that was brought up, at least leading into the Regis Prograis bout, was that, Devin Haney, was getting, trying to cut down to 140. And there were like suggestions that he could, be a 147 soon. So is this going to be something here where it's like another instance of him, trying to cut down to 140? If he already like rehydrated to 165 plus or whatever it is, going into that fight against Regis Prograis, what does he have to, like, is he going to have to cut down 20 pounds again to try to make this bout, possible? So, I mean, that's going to be something else to kind of like look out for in this instance there against Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? But for Garcia, man, I know that this is something where it's like he has like a whole lot of pressure on him, in this. He was able to, get another fight in 2023 and Oscar Duarte. But now it is right back up to another high level fight here against Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how is he going to be able to approach this? I feel like, I'm leaning towards Devin Haney being a favorite in this. That he'd be able to get a decision win on this. There's some that say like it would be like a wide decision win for Devin Haney. It probably could. We have to see like if he's going to be able to perform at a high level in this bout like he did against Regis Prograis. At the same time, Ryan Garcia, really has to, show like, okay, I'm supposed to be at this level with these guys. Like I'm supposed to be at the level there with Devin Haney, or at least be up to before the fight took place. At least be at the level there with Tank Davis, or someone like a Shakur Stevenson, or like a Teofimo Lopez, or anybody like that. So how is it going to approach this to to have that level to say, okay, yes, I can compete with these guys? Will it be something where he can have the shot to really give Haney his first loss? We'll see. I think one of the things that has been kind of like pointed out with a number of these opponents that Devin Haney has had was that he has been younger than these guys. Either like from like 5 years younger, or like in his last fight, he was like 10 years, younger than Regis Prograis. This is like the first fight that he's had therefore like a good while. Like, I mean, if you kind of like go back in this fights, man, I'm trying to see like where, anybody's anybody is like even close to his age. You can't really see that, so now here he is against a guy that's his equal as far as like age is concerned. So the speed's going to be there, the reflexes are pretty much going to be around there at that point there for Devin Haney, with his opponent being Ryan Garcia. Like, how is he going to be able to approach this fight, especially if Ryan Garcia adapts a counterpunching style with his quick twitch. He has very fast hands. So how is Devin going to be able to adjust to that, having those fast hands? You know what I mean? But I'm pretty intrigued by this fight. This is like one of those fights where you got guys that are around that level. They're in the 140-pound division that around that easily top 10. And it's something where I kind of like say, what, at least it's not like a fight between Devin Haney and Sandor Martin. I mean, I thought that like it was going to be Devin Haney having a mandatory defense against Sandor, but we're not necessarily getting that. Yeah, that's the thing that Ryan does have like a great left hook. So that's the thing that Devin Haney is going to have to watch out for in this thing is how is Brian Garcia going to be able to, measure what Devin Haney is going to do, particularly with the jab. I mean, I think the thing there for Devin Haney is he has a very good jab. He's able to mix that jab up as far as like the pace of the jab and the location, where it would either go upstairs or downstairs, or if he follows up, going upstairs and then follows up with the right hand and goes with the right hand to the body. So you're going to see that there with Devin Haney. He's going to mix that up here in this bout against Ryan Garcia. So definitely looking for that to go ahead and take place. He says, Ryan's got to find a way to disguise it. Yeah, that's the thing though. Is he going to be able to come off of wherever his left hand's going to be, and then try to like turn it and be able to land flush there with that left hook. We got to see if Ryan Garcia is going to be able to do that. But I gotta see if Ryan is gonna not only do that, but be able to throw combinations or throw like some good combinations there, and be able to land that against Devin Haney because Devin Haney to me it's not like he moves around with his head that much, but he has good defense as far as like catching punches too. But at the same token, there have been fights in the past where Devin Haney has, been, out of sorts a little bit as far as like foot positioning is concerned too. So we got to see that. So, at some point we're probably gonna, look at, a couple of these fights, that Devin has had in the past, like particularly the fights that he had against Jorge Linares. But for me, I think it's like the Jojo Diaz fight is one that I'll definitely look at. George Kambosos and the Vasyl Lomachenko fight. Those are pretty much the fights that I'm going to kind of like break down here in the weeks leading into this bout between Haney and Ryan. And on the flip side with Ryan Garcia, yeah, you do have the fight with Tank Davis, but you also have the what I would say the Romero Duno fight, maybe, but no, not necessarily that one. The Luke Campbell fight and the Tego fight. I would say those two fights we're going to look at, and I would like to see like how he's going to be able to adjust from those fights, because the Tego fight was one thing where you wanted to see if Ryan Garcia could be able to use, at least in this instance, where he had a height and reach advantage and try to at least take out Tego in that bout, but he wasn't able to take advantage after getting a knockdown in the second round in that fight. You know what I mean? So there was that. You know what I mean? Oh, what else is there? Oh yeah, that's it. That's it on that. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that coming up on April 20th there this year, and it's going to be a good one. I know that we're that's going to be part of a little, what I'd say, like about a 6 week or so. No, not 6 weeks, probably like 7 weeks, because you got, of course, what's coming up on March 30th. We got that coming up. And then you'll have this on April 20th. And then on May 4th, you're going to have Canelo Alvarez be featured in a fight. There's, reports, or what I've been hearing is that Canelo is going to face Jamal Charlo. There's news that Canelo is going to be saying something on Azteca, the Mexican station, as far as like what he's going to do. So, yeah, and I'm thinking that it's going to be, Jamal Charlo, and then it could be in September, Terrence Crawford. But May 4th, Las Vegas, that's going to be big. I've also heard, noticed it has been leaked out in a sense on Twitter that you're going to have another title fight on that card on May 4th. Jerron Boots Ennis defended the IBF welterweight title against Mario Barrios. That's been the thing there that's kind of been leaked out there within the boxing circles on social media. So that could end up being the co-feature bout to Canelo's event there on May 4th. So that's what they got on that. But yeah, that kind of like makes for a good solid few weeks there within the spring months. So, but I think it's gonna have a pretty good spring there. You know what I'm saying? Or they said like Haney and Tego was the same height according to BoxRec. Yeah, let me confirm that. Oh well, yeah, they got Tego there at 5'8". Man, I don't know, man. Like Tego didn't look like 5'8" to me. I'm not all too sure, man. I'm not all too sure, But he looked like definitely he was shorter there against Ryan Garcia. As a matter of fact, you know what we shoot, that's the last time we've seen Emmanuel Tago, man. We haven't seen him since then, man. I gotta figure out what's going on with him. What's the guy's name? Damn, I forgot his manager's name. Um, oh shoot, man. I'll come up with it though, man. He's the same manager for George Cambosis, you know. So I gotta find out, man. Peter Khan, yeah, that's who it is, Peter Khan. Yeah, Peter Khan was the same manager there for Tego as it was for Cambosis. So I don't know what's been going on with Manuel Tego since then. Yeah, and Ryan Garcia did look taller in that face off. Yeah, he did. He did. You know, he looked like almost looked like he was what, like 5'10" or 5'11", well, like 5'10" maybe. You know, that 5'8" and a half. And I don't know about all that. But yeah, he kind of looks like he's 5'10" or something like that. So yeah, we got to see how that goes. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like there might be something where we kind of like see if Ryan Garcia, what would be the keys for Ryan Garcia to be able to have an upper hand there against Devin Haney here in this fight on April 20th. But as of right now with Devin Haney, we've seen what he's been able to do against George Kambosos, against Vasyl Lomachenko, against Jorge Linares, Jojo Diaz. I was able to be at his fights in 2019 and the DC area, when he faced Antonio Moran and, when he faced Abdulayev in New York City there. So he's been building himself up since then, so and people have, kind of like given him credit for having these fights and maneuvering himself to be put in a position to, make those fights happen there. So you do have that. But now he is going up against Ryan Garcia, and I know that there are some folks that may say like maybe this could be part of a way to eventually make a fight if he wins this, Devin Haney versus St. Davis. We'll see. But he still has this task at hand that he has to take care of first. So you got to wait to see how this goes. But that's mainly what I got there on reference to that, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Ryan Garcia, knows how much he has on there, and what we've seen there in the face off that happened in Las Vegas. He's very excited about this, to a point. And I said, in the past, they've had those three fights in the past, or six fights, where they've been, going back and forth, with each other. So that's something there. I think well, it looks like the last fight that they had was in 2015 there in the youth championships, where Devin Haney was able to get the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? So he did have that. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this, man. Definitely looking forward to this there, man. So that's what I got, man. I'm not sure like if who y'all picking, going up here early. I mean, here we are. It's gonna be what, more than 8 weeks, from that bout. So, we'll see how it goes. But real quick, wanted to touch on, what happened on Thursday. Of course, we had Teofimo Lopez defend the title against Jermaine Ortiz, where Teofimo ended up getting a unanimous decision win. 2 scores of 7 rounds to 5, and 1 score of 9 rounds to 3. 9 rounds to 3. I don't even know where in the world 9 rounds to 3 wasn't it. 9 rounds to 3 wasn't it. 7-5, you pretty much could say, man, you know what? You might as well just say it could have been a draw. But as I mentioned before, we had Brother Ant McQueen on Casual's Corner just before I came on. We were able to break down the fight. where we've seen where Teofimo Lopez has multiple weaknesses when it comes to cutting off the ring, when it comes to chasing fighters that are like southpaws and cutting off the ring and not leaning in with the jab and kind of like having this stance to where he reaches against his opponent, you had multiple opportunities where Jermaine Ortiz could have made him pay off that, but he was able to score in some instances and not able to score in other instances. I think in the the last few rounds, you've seen at least Teofimo Lopez do a little bit better in a sense, but I feel like he still has a whole lot more work to do as far as like trying to cut off the ring against his opponents. There, particularly those that are that fight in a counterpunching type of style, or fight with their back foot, or just backing it up to the rope. So he definitely had a whole lot to be desired in that one. You also did have in the co-feature about Keyshawn Davis against Jose Pedraza, where Keyshawn Davis did take care of business, did handle it, was able to defeat Jose Pedraza. Yeah, Pedraza was coming down and wait for this particular bout. Yes, he's been there. What has it been like? Almost like 12 plus years. And he was there around like 35 years old or something. But Keyshawn Davis, did what he had to do in order to get Jose Pedraza out of there, and definitely was a good performance by him. Was very patient, very economical, and what he was doing there as far as like taking his time, landing shots. Wasn't really all too eager to try to land big shots there in that thing, so props to Keyshawn in that particular instance. I think that was where you did have Bomac back, because in the last bout, I don't think Bomac was able to be back in the camp in time for him to be involved there with Keyshawn Davis, because of course he was dealing with what happened in the UK. But even in that one where he faced Nahir Albright, he had some good spots, and he had some spots where he was had a few things left to be desired. Ended up he had the win on that by decision, but they turned it to a no contest. So like him going back here against Pedraza, saying that he cleaned up his act, he ain't smoking no more, nothing like that. He also pointed out that he had his mom's by his side for majority of this camp, and being there in his corner around, or near his corner there for this particular bout. So that was good on his part. And he said, hey, he wants that smoke with Teofimo Lopez, because of the whole little back and forth they had in the press conference. What that was on Tuesday night, before that fight. But he did call out Teofimo Lopez. They did have a verbal back and forth after Teo's fight. But he also mentioned potentially facing who could be the WBO champion in that weight division, Emmanuel Navarrete, who's going to be fighting Denis Berinchyk for the vacant WBO title at lightweight. So that's something that could be pretty good. But for me, I think that they're trying to bring up Keyshawn, little by little, piece by piece, particularly with him having just 11 pro fights. Maybe they'll have him go up against maybe Zara Abdullayev. I think Abdullayev either he has something coming up, or he recently had a fight. But Abdullayev has kind of been doing pretty well. Yeah, he has a fight coming up against Roger Gutierrez. Well, actually, he did have one fight. I got to see if he was able to get the win on that. They didn't have the result on the box rec, so I'm gonna check to see if they had if someone has the result of that particular fight that Abdullayev had against Roger Gutierrez. So Abdullayev, ever since that fight against Devin Haney, he's done pretty well up to that point. They said he got a unanimous decision win. So he's been doing, like I said, he's been doing well. He's been doing well up to this point. So maybe Abdullah versus Keyshawn Davis, could be a potential fight that could be coming up there in the lightweight division, because I don't see Keyshawn fighting someone like a Ray Murataya. Like I don't see that happening. But also the thing there with Navarrete against Morinchik, yeah, I don't see where like Keyshawn Davis would be able to get a fight there with one of those guys. I think if Navarrete wins, he'll face the IBF champion between Lomachenko and Kambosos, especially if it's Lomachenko. So I definitely see that happening. So that's what I got in reference to that. And for me, I think the most impressive guy out there was Abdullah Mason. Like Abdullah Mason showed out in this bout. I'm really, really impressed with Abdullah Mason. I think he's like one of those guys that you definitely have to watch out for. There, he's right now at the 140-pound division, but who knows how long he's going to be staying there at 140. But he got that knockout win against Ben Gurman. With Gurman, ended up having a knockdown. I think it was who was it? Dave Chappelle, or who's the guy that looks like Dave Chappelle? That's the ref, man. He was in there when the Mason scored that one knockdown in the second round, and he said he told Gurman, man, you better show me something, or I'm gonna stop the bout early. And then Gurman, he threw a lazy jab, and and Abdullah Mason came back with a left, blah, and it just took him out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Or he says the Barenchik Navarrete should be play out in a similar fashion as Barenchik versus Zapata. Ooh, that would be very interesting. That would be very interesting. That would be interesting. That one was how that fight was, man. That was something. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes here with these two. I mean, it's definitely going to be a action packed fight. Definitely going to be an action packed fight on that. So definitely looking to see how that's going to go. You know what I mean? But that's what I had in the breakdown of that fight card. You know what I'm saying? Definitely looking forward to what these other fighters are going to be doing here at this particular point. With Teofimo, though, I have no idea. I'm being honest. I have no idea who he's going to fight next. I really have no clue. I can't. Like I looked at the the WBO rankings. I can't see where there's like another fighter in there that could potentially fit in to be his next opponent. Like even before this fight was made, right? The original offer or the original opponent was Jose Ramirez, and Jose Ramirez turned that fight down, and then just turned down being a part of Top Rank altogether. So that's how he ended up being on Golden Boy. So now that he's out of the picture, Barbosa's over there in Golden Boy as well, so he's out of the picture. Now who else is going to be out there, for Teofimo to fight? I can't really figure out who would it be? Maybe I could look for something here later on down the line to see who else could be out there, because some folks were talking about maybe Teo facing Subriel Matias, but that's out of the picture because Matias is going to eventually face Liam Perro in the summer, and after that probably have like another fight that's going to be on this own or something. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like saying where in the world Teofimo is going to fight. I have no idea. Like I seriously have no idea. You know what I mean? I have to see like what else is out there as far as like potential opponents for him. You know, we got to see how that goes. With that being said, man, I have no clue where he would, kind of like have that. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, that's that card. So now we got what's coming up. Another top ranked card that's going to be this time on Friday at the theater, the Hulu Theater in Madison Square Garden. You're going to have the WBC title at 130 pounds on the line with Oshaki Foster going up against Abraham Nova. This is going to be the second defense there for Oshaki Foster. He's there at 21-2. There were 12 KOs. Abraham Nova is there at 23-1. And how many knockouts did Abraham have? He has 16. Robeisy Ramirez was the guy that was able to stop Abraham Nova, but now he's back in position to fight for a world title. He had a win over Blue Nose Lopez and win over Jonathan Romero last year in order to get back into world title contender status here against Oshaki Foster. And for those that watched Oshaki Foster in his last bout against Eduardo Hernandez, they almost seemed like they were going to snatch that belt from Oshaki Foster there over in Mexico. One of those judges had every single round in favor of Hernandez. New Era Boxing and Best TV. What's going on with you, man? Salute to you. He's excited for the fight between Oshaki Foster and Abraham Nova. Should be scheduled to be out there for that fight at the theater in Madison Square Garden. I'm pretty much I'm a fan of Oshaki Foster. He does have a good balance of offense and defense there that he's able to mix up. He had a great performance there against Ray Vargas last year in order to win the WBC super featherweight title. So definitely looking forward to seeing what he could do here against Abraham Nova in this offense, because he's recently signed the top rank. I think they definitely look like they're having plans to try to unify that particular division there. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have something else where he could, if he gets through this particular bout, he can, have a unification. But the thing about it is, with Navarrete, trying to go after that lightweight title, the WBO belt will be, end up being vacant. He said the top three in the WBO at 140. You got Barbosa, Jose Ramirez, and Richard Hitchens. Yeah, and the thing with that, right? Like I said, Barbosa, had a recent fight there. He's on Golden Boy. Jose Carlos Ramirez recently got signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and you got Richard Hitchens, who's over there in Matchroom, who's on route to facing or fighting in the IBF eliminator. So he has a final eliminator coming up there in the IBF. I forgot who that was that he's slated to face. It's supposed to be another. Oh, I think it's Gustavo Lemos. Yeah, so it's supposed to be Lemos there. That's a final eliminator for the IBF. So with those three guys out there, who else is next in line? Like I said, you got those three. Then you got Sandor Martin, who Teofimo already fought. Jack Catterall, maybe Jack Catterall. You got Elvis Rodriguez, Sean McComb, who knows who that is. Liam Powell, who's going to be fighting Subriel Matias. So, that's the thing. I mean, unless it's going to be like a Jack Catterall, probably, as the opponent there for Teofimo Lopez here later this year, then I don't see where other fighter that could be out there available for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's going to IBF route as he's fighting Gustavo Lemos. That's supposed to be. Let me get the. I want to see if I could get the date on that, because that thing is supposed to it'll be, I think it's April 6th. So April 6th, you're gonna have Richardson Hitchens against Gustavo Lemos there. So yeah, that's gonna be 2 weeks before that Haney versus Brian. You know what I'm saying? He said he also recently said like he'd like to rehydrate to his natural weight. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, man. He did mention that. You know, he did mention that. The thing with the IBF is you got that 10 pound rehydration. So you're gonna have to, look into that, take that into account there with Richard Hitchens. Is he gonna, still try to do that, while going after the IBF title? And given what's happened with the situation with Subriel Matias, now Subriel Matias is not, as you say, a quote unquote PBC fighter. Now he could, maneuver himself to, try to make fights out there with, matchroom fighters or maybe top ranked fighters or whatever. But at least right now, while Matias heals from his injury, he'll be right in a fight with Liam Parra. So we'll see how that goes. You know what I mean? That being said, man, we have that thing there where that 140-pound situation is going to shape out. And like I said, with with happening with O'Shaquie Foster, you got him there with the WBC at 130. You got Lamont Roach Jr. that won the WBA. You got Joe Cordina with the IBF, and like I said, the WBO is going to be eventually vacated if Navarrete ends up winning the belt at 135. So you do have that. I think you had what was it, Albert Bell and Archie Sharp, a petition to try to fight for the WBO interim title at 130 pounds, but the WBO denied that because at the time you had Emmanuel Navarrete as the super champ, and with him being the super champ at the time, like he didn't really have to have a mandatory until almost like 2025. So they said there would have been no point to have that particular fight be for a WBO interim. But now that they had pretty much announced that Navarrete is going up to face Berinchit, maybe they could revisit and have that be for the vacant WBO title at 130. So we'll see how that goes. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm looking forward to what's going down on Friday there with O'Shaquie Foster. I got to see you also have Shushu Carrington that's going to be on that card. Tiger Johnson is going to be on that card. Shushu is the 2023 Boxing Source Prospect of the Year, so definitely looking forward to him being in action there against Bernard Torres. That's going to be really, really good there. Having that bout take place. Delonte or Tiger Johnson is going up against Paulo Galdino in this thing there. So you're going to have a number of these prospects on there. Guido Vianello is going to be on there, which, I'm like, man, they got Guido on here, but they ain't got Johnny Rice on there. Johnny Rice ended up stopping him. And then and I ain't really seen Johnny Rice be in the fight since. It's been over a year, and Johnny Rice ain't had a fight. But here we got Guido Vianello, since he's, signed, with Top Rank or, been behind Top Rank, that they got him, they got him still, featuring in some of these fights, you know what I mean? So, yeah, dang, man, like, how they going to have Guido on there, but they ain't going to have Johnny Rice on there, man? We need Johnny Rice in there in some fights. But, yeah, the other ones, man, you got undefeated fighters, Arnold Gonzalez at 154 fighting Charles Stanford. You got Ofacio Falcon undefeated also part of this card. So I don't know. You also have Brian Chevalier versus Andres Cortez there in this one. I'm trying to see if Chevalier is kind of like in the rankings. He's number 4 in the WBO at super featherweight. So he's, looking to, try to move up the ranks here in 130 as well. So That's something to watch out for with Chevalier going up against Andres Cortez. And Andres Cortez is ranked number 15 there in the WBO. So you're gonna have two contenders out there facing each other in that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Johnny needs to fight, man. We got a petition to get Johnny in there in a bout. I think what's been happening over the course of the past year or so is I think they've been trying to serve him up. They've been trying to serve him up, potentially against somebody like a Jared Anderson, or maybe against Efe Ajagba or something like that. But they ain't gonna have him in there against Jared Anderson. They've been in the camp, out there in Vegas, so I don't think that they're gonna have those two guys against each other. You know what I'm saying? So you do have that, but I will say that there is a fight card, another top ranked fight card coming up. That will be April 13th, and that should be in Houston. And Jared Anderson is going to be involved in that particular card in Houston. So we got to see, who's going to be the opponent for that. May follow up on it to see if they, have like an opponent lined up, but if not, then we'll see. Yeah, I'd like to see if Hitchens could give Matias some resistance. That would be that would be an interesting bout, because you got you got Hitchens there. He's a good boxer. But will he be able to, do all of that there, for 12 rounds against Subriel Matias? You know what I'm saying? You talking about Johnny Rice? Hey, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if Johnny Rice said that, man. If he said he only wants undefeated fighters, you gotta put him there against undefeated fighters, but it won't be against Jared Anderson. I'll say that at the very least. It's not gonna be him. So that's the thing about Johnny Rice, man. I gotta hit him up. I probably should get him back on the scene here on the Boxing Source, man. I haven't talked with him at length in a while, so we probably gotta see how he's approaching things here as far as like these fights are concerned, man. Because we definitely got to see Johnny Rice out there, man. I mean, we had those two wins against Mike Coffey, and then he was able to beat like I said, he was able to beat Guido, and they put him in a good position for a fight since, man. I'm like, come on, man. He's like the prospect killer or something like that. Who they said, what's his name? Randy Orton's like the legend killer. You got Johnny Rice as a prospect killer. So if you got somebody coming up in the ranks there, man, you don't want him going up against Johnny Rice, because he gonna ruin all your dreams. You know what I'm saying? That's mainly what I got, man. You had, like I said, I broke down the card that's coming up on February 16th. That's a Friday night. This will be on ESPN. So y'all be able to catch this fight card on ESPN. Pretty much the two fights on ESPN, and then ESPN Plus will have like a number of these other fights that I did, or the fighters that I mentioned on there. So you'll be able to catch that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think Hitchens is very skilled. He just lacks power. And what was it? I think he was at that Golden Boy card, with where you had Arnold Barbosa on there, and he said like, Barbosa. He said he'd fight Barbosa, he'd fight Jose Ramirez, all that type of stuff. But hey, right now he's in that position to fight Gustavo Lemos in that eliminator bout. So we'll see how he does here in 2024. Maybe he gets that world title shot here this year. We just got to see, how Subriel Matias comes out in his bout against Liam Perro. Like I said, he's going through recovery with his I think it's his left hand. So we'll see how that goes with him. You know what I mean? But with that being said, man, that's what I got here for the Boxing Source podcast. Big ups for everybody that's been able to listen live here. Shout out to Emma Queen. Shout out to New Era Boxing and Best TV here for taking the time to listen live. For those that coming in here late, You'll be able to catch the replay here pretty soon. So you'll be able to hear the breakdown of like I said there with the Devin Haney Ryan Garcia fight coming up. Yeah. Leo Perro was out playing with Montana Love at all. He pretty much put Montana Love in the dirt. Yo, he pretty much sent him straight to the fifth dimension, bro. That's for sure. But yeah, that's what he got here so far, man. And we'll get back at it here next Sunday. We'll see if we'll have the midweek report coming up on Wednesday. And like I said, once again, thanks for everybody for jumping in here on this. And like I say at the end of every show, folks, point of boxing is to hit and I can hit, not to send and trade. On that note, folks, I'm out. Have a good evening, everybody.